As a council member, I think it's imperative that we get that out on the table. And that's kind of where I was going with this, Chris. It's not a critique of you. What I'm trying to do is create a positive environment for the council to operate and staff to operate. And again, if it's me that is from the council meetings that you're referring to, call me out. I'm okay with that. What I'm worried about is the comments when you say staff or people say, and when we repeat those things, it reinforces a negative that oftentimes there's no proof given.
So you want me to just name Donna?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
If it's Donna that's doing that and saying that, then by the way, she's leaving. She's going to become the Slow City parking manager. She turned in her notice yesterday. So we'll be hiring somebody new for that position. But absolutely, if we have people that are making comments or not supporting the organization or council's mission, I need to know about it, because that is my job, is to make sure that we present as positive of an image of to the community and to our constituents as possible. And the real reason why I wanted to bring this here is because if we send mixed messages when it comes to the renewal of E12, meaning that, hey, I think it's a good idea, but I think the staff and council has created an environment to undermine that. Those are two incongruent messages that you can say one or the other, and I'm okay with that because they both could be true. But are we behind getting E12 renewed or not?
I don't think I am behind getting it. As I said the other day at council meeting, I said that we jeopardize the passage of E12 if we pursue this paid parking. And I fully believe that.
Perceived on what you've been hearing from the public?
My experience with M16, just talking to people around town, business owners, people that would normally say, yes, we need to do this, key players, I'm sure you have your own key players. I think everybody's in agreement with them. We want to do this. But here, let me just repeat what I said. It has we're going to have three measures on the ballot. The county, us, and the resolution parking referendum. Sorry. So people are going to be voting.
Two of those are assumptions, in fairness.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't.
Three of them are assumptions.
All three of them
are assumptions in fairness.
If we're doing this or not yet.
Yeah, nobody's voted from the council to put this on there yet.
So I think if we can play what if all you want. I don't care, but let's say for argument's sake.
For that sake, yeah.
That we have three items. They're going to, it'll just kind of be a tumbling effect. We're going to say no on paid parking. We're going to say no on your referendum. We're going to say no on slow cause referendum. Even if there's only two, I don't think the referendum to pass parking. I don't know how they're going to set it up, but whether it's for parking or against it, it could be a yes or a no vote. But bottom line is, I don't think the city will be allowed. The voters will just vote it down, however they frame it, the question. And I don't even want to see it on the ballot because I want E12 to pass.
We need it, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and we need it to be 1%, and we need it to be open-ended.
I guess my question is,
if we have too many things on the ballot, like the referendum, they all risk being torpedoed.
That's true, and I guess there's, that's the risk with any time, and that's the reason why we do polling, and we, as of currently, I can tell you that even with, the slow cog measure on the, potentially on the ballot, the numbers are skewed in our favor right now, and that's from an independent pollster talking to potential registered voters on it. So as of right now, U12 has about 60% plus support with at a 1/2 cent renewal, and then it's slightly less, I think 58%.
So let's do a second poll, not arguing with you, agreeing with you. I think like you just said, everybody wants U12 to pass. Now the pollsters put in the question and frame it, if you were to vote for paid parking or a sales tax, which would you vote for?
Well,
and you were,
it's not an or.
Don't interrupt. When you frame those kinds of questions, you're setting up. Have you ever done backwards market research?
I've done a lot of this.
Okay, so absolutely. How many questions do you ask to get there?
So on our current market research, off the top of my head, we do the way it works out is we have just the question. If you put on and I'm happy, I don't know how much time you have because I'm happy to get into all of the nuances of polling, but what I really wanted to talk about was how do we unite as a council? How do we, if I'm creating a hostile work environment, I need to know about it, the rest of the council needs to know about it, and we need to take immediate corrective action if there's any validity to it. The second part of that is how do we work together as a team and not divide each other when it comes to our communication, our interaction with each other, and creating the most positive environment we can to succeed as a team. That's my goal. It's not to criticize anybody. It's to point out the realities of the information. And I think that, the way that people are feeling, including you, anybody in this conversation, I'm trying to come here as a uniter and as a team builder to try and create a positive environment, not an environment that many other boards have experienced where they're mired in controversy, and what that reflects about our community. To me, it's completely avoidable, despite the variance in opinion we may have on one particular matter, which I'm not trying to downplay. The community, the council, this is the way democracy is designed to function. If the community wants a referendum and wants to get to that point, that's democracy. I don't have a problem with any of that. If the system, the way it's working now, if they want to vote out John and Sharon and others, that's democracy. That's the way it works because they're not happy with the representation that they have. I guess what I'm trying to say is, how do we let that process take place naturally without appearing divided and without appearing negative as a group, to make sure that we create the best environment possible to succeed as a group?
When's the last time you went through Brown Act training?
Probably within the last 6 months, 7 months.
Part of it is, we talked about the 5-0 votes.
Yeah.
And 5-0 votes end up being subject to suspicion.
Sure.
Some people like to think that a 5-0 vote is the milestone of a nice, harmonious relationship. Other people view 5-0 votes as being a rubber stamp.
Yeah.
I will never, ever be accused of being a rubber stamp.
Nor am I including 5-0 votes.
And if we, Mayor Martin pulled me aside down in Long Beach, first meeting, Cal City's meeting, my orientation meeting, Wednesday evening. It's a look. We really want to show 5-0 votes. We like that. And we want to have discussions beforehand. We don't want to have discussions on the dais. And I said, I'm not your guy. That's not me. I think that's where discussions happen. What I told him is that I would get questions that I was going to raise on the dais. Most of them, sometimes questions come up on the dais. I would get questions to staff beforehand. That's where you come in. And I've done a really good job of asking those questions and telegraphing what I'm going to have.
No blind side.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I've done a good job of that. Once in a while, I didn't think about that. Sure. Somebody says something, and it's like, oh, good point. You sparked a lot of secondary questions because you have the insight that I think a very common insight is fellow business owners that most people don't think of. So you'll say something, say, oh, yeah,
Trigger that.
Extrapolate that.
That's what it's about, the discussion.
Right. All right. And I think in a democracy that you describe, that's where the discussion takes place.
Right.
And I don't think it takes place beforehand. The fact that this is an ongoing discussion, I'm going to assume that we're just talking about parking here. If there's another issue that I've been divisive about, we'll have to let me know. I believe it's just parking.
It's not even the topic. I don't care.
I think it needs to be for me to go back and be retrospective and figure out how am I being divisive.
And that's what I'm here to try and explain.
So on the parking issue, just before you leave that topic completely, it's important that we eliminate any controversy to E12, any angst that people might have to have a vote. Having a referendum for parking just rubs salt in it.
I see your point, but I don't agree. They're separate and distinct. I mean, parking is, in my opinion, the reason I'm doing this is because it's public property that's being misused. It has nothing to do with fixing our roads. So E12, is more supportive streets, improvement, maintenance.
So
That's my line. Okay, that's the way I'm looking at it. I try to explain that, but the other flip side that I've been hearing, Chris, is that sometimes you'll make a comment to staff, like a word or something that just doesn't. It's kind of, I'm going to say, out of line. It's not really the best thing to say in public.
Be specific.
The other day you would say,
I can give you a couple that are specific. So one is staff is being disingenuous.
yeah, something like that.
That was a comment that you made the other day. There's been other examples too where you said you believe there's a conflict with Elizabeth Hull representing us.